Hey everyone, it's Brandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my May book haul. Every time I sit down to do these book hauls, I'm just like, I told myself I wasn't going to get a whole bunch of books. And what did I do? Get a whole bunch of books. I've been seeing some people's book hauls lately and I feel like I did not get as much as some people. So that's sort of an accomplishment. But considering I have been trying to slow down because I'm supposed to be moving really soon, yeah, I didn't accomplish that. Yeah, no. I think I didn't really have too many pre-orders this month. I think looking at the books, I only had 2 pre-orders for this month, for May. So the first pre-order that I had was obviously A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J Maas. I have already read this one. If you guys don't know somehow, this book is like book 3.5, so it's kind of it is a novella, and it's supposed to be, it was marketed as a bridge book between the first part of the series and the next part of the series. So the first part of the series is A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mystic Fury, and A Court of Wings and Ruin. This was supposed to be a bridge, and honestly it did not feel like a bridge to me. It felt more like just kind of almost like a week in the life of these characters, which I didn't necessarily mind, but I felt like they shouldn't have marketed the way they did because it wasn't really that. But yeah, I'm not supposed to be talking about my thoughts. I'm just supposed to be talking about the books I got. This is my first pre-order and I have already read this, so yay for that. The only other pre-order that I have, which I ended up with 2 copies of, is Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. I ended up with 2 copies because I did pre-order it, like I said, and my pre-order came in on Tuesday, but there was like, I don't know, it's like a pretty significant little chunk or like dent in the copy. So I contacted Amazon and I was like, you know, I pre-ordered this, it came damaged, and I explained it to them, and I didn't send a picture because there wasn't a way to send a picture in the initial email. So it's just like, can I get a replacement? They didn't ask for any pictures. I guess maybe because I don't like contact them a lot about damaged books, which I don't get a whole lot of damaged books from Amazon considering how many I purchased from them. But it did come in like a bubble mailer, but at the same time nothing else is, like, it's kind of a little dent in this, like in a dust jacket, but there's nothing else damaged about this. So I didn't understand how that happened. It just looked like, I don't know, maybe it got caught on something and they just stuck it with, I don't know what happened. But anyway, they sent me a replacement copy, which is why I have a second copy. So I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do because I didn't have to pay for this and they didn't ask me to return it, which I was expecting. So I don't know if I'll try to do a giveaway for the second copy if somebody doesn't mind getting a damaged book, or I might try to sell it if no one wants it. I don't know. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Let me know if you guys would be interested in getting this copy even though it's damaged. This is a YA sci-fi novel. I really don't know too many of the details about this. Moving on to books that I got as subscription boxes. I technically got 3 boxes this month. One I didn't unbox because it was like a past box that I just bought because I wanted a certain edition of the book. And then the other, you know, I subscribed to OwlCrate, and then I mentioned, which I did an unboxing for, that I also picked up the May Fairy Loot box. So in OwlCrate I got 2 different books. The first book that I got, which was like an extra item in the box, was Catching Stars by Kayla Keenan, and this was a indie published book, and this was published with Of Tomes Publishing. This is actually the damaged copy that I got in my box. I did receive a replacement copy from OwlCrate, so this is another copy that I don't know what I'm gonna do with this extra copy yet. But yeah, I have this one. And all I really know is that this has something to do with witches because the tagline says be afraid of witches. And the other book that came in the Outbreak box, which was the main book for the month, is Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. This is a YA fantasy novel that has to do with Vikings. This one I do know more details about, but I have heard that what the synopsis says and what people have basically been saying about this book is kind of spoilery for the story. So I'm not going to talk about that because I don't want to give any of the details away, just in case you guys want to go ahead and read this. Just know that it is a YA Viking story, and this is an Outbreak exclusive cover. And then in the Fairy Loot box for May, I got Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett, another YA fantasy novel. This follows this girl who is known as Trader Kate, and she has this title because her father tried to kill the High King. Because she has this title, she can only really get work as the Royal Courier Service, so she's basically a mail lady. And working with this job is kind of dangerous because it's like only the fastest, I believe they say, survive, because when night falls we have these things called night drakes which are flightless dragons that attack at night. And so you don't obviously want to be still trying to do your job in the middle of the night when these things come out. But one day these night drakes are attacking during the day, and she runs off to help because she has some type of powers where either she can control them or read their minds, or maybe a combination of both. So she goes off to help whoever is being attacked, and the only survivor of this attack is the crown prince of this territory or something like that, who's actually her ex-boyfriend or ex-lover. So they have to team up together to figure out what's going on and stuff from there. This was an exclusive copy from Fairy Loot because it came with sprayed black edges. This was another one of my anticipated reads for the year. It's quite chunky. This is another book that is on my May TBR or my June TBR. If you guys have not seen that already, definitely go check that one out. And the last couple books that I got in the subscription box came from a past LitJoy crate box. So I picked this up because there was a copy of a book that I actually received in a past Fairy Loot box, but I wanted the normal edition because I figured when the next book comes out, I want it to match. I want my copy to match. So I think I'm actually going to get rid of the copy that I have and just stick with this one. But I got two books in that one, which I wasn't expecting. But the first one I have is How to Train Your Dragon, the Complete Book of Dragons, A Guide to Dragon Species by Cressida Cole. So I believe this is like an additional novel to the How to Train Your Dragon series by that author. And I just think this is really cute because it's like a little notebook, and it's kind of just a guide to dragons, and it's full of pictures, and there is some text in it, but I feel like it's really nice. And I kind of flipped through it quickly, but I haven't completely read through it, and it's like it's just a really nice book that it'll be nice to flip through. And if I don't want to keep it, I always have a younger brother that will probably also enjoy this as well. And then the main book that came in that LitJoy crate box that I picked up was The Last Ramsara by Krista Ciccarelli. Like I mentioned, I have already gotten a copy of this and I have already read this, but I wanted the normal US edition. So the one that I have already read is smaller. It's like shorter, and I think it's just overall smaller, and then they changed the foiling. So the foiling on this one is gold, and then the one I got from Fairy Loot, they made it silver. I like the gold a lot better than the silver, so I was kind of disappointed when I got that one anyway. And I just want my books to match if I continue to get those books in the series. The next section I have are all mangas. I have Happy Marriage. I picked up 2 volumes, so I have Happy Marriage Volume 2 and Happy Marriage Volume 3 by Maki and Joji. I can't really get into what these two are about, but this follows this girl named Chiwa, and she is like an office worker who is working more than just as an office worker to basically try to supplement income because her father had a business deal go wrong, and she's basically trying to pay out his debt. And her boss, or the president of the company that she is an office worker for, his grandfather wants her to marry him, and in exchange for them getting married, they will help her out with this debt that her father owes and she's trying to pay off. So in the first book, she agrees to that, and it's kind of just following their life from that point on. So yeah, pick these up, read both of these already, and I'm enjoying rereading the series. And the next one that I picked up is Everyone's Getting Married Volume 2 by Izumi Miyazano. This one follows two characters. Well, it follows multiple characters. I shouldn't just say two, but it focuses on two main characters. And the girl, she's 24 years old. She works in a bank, I believe, and she wants to eventually get married and quit her job and become a homemaker. This is like her lifelong dream. And then the main guy in this, he doesn't want to ever get married. So while the two of them don't have the same ideas when it comes to marriage, they end up deciding to get into a relationship. And yeah, this volume actually just follows them as they're getting more into their relationship with each other. And yeah, it's just another really cute manga series, and it's one that I think if people like romance, then this will be a type of manga to try out. And the last manga that I picked up from Amazon was Wotakoi, I always say that wrong, Love is Hard for Otaku Volume 1 by Fujita. I have already read this one as well. I was doing pretty good with at least some of my shorter reads for the month. I've gotten to the majority of them. So yeah, this follows two characters mainly. It's focusing on two characters mainly. They're both otakus, and the main female character, she just has not had a lot of luck in the romance department, because whenever any of her boyfriends have found out she is an otaku, they dumped her, and she runs into an old childhood friend, and they end up starting to date. And it's really kind of they're trying to find their way with being themselves, while also trying to figure out what a romance really is. And it was cute. The next book that I have is Whisper by Lynette Nomi. I actually picked this one up, I think I mentioned this in my wrap up as well, but I picked this one up because I received an e-arc of this one for review, but the way it was formatted, I just was not really happy with the way it was formatted, and I felt like I was going to have a really hard time reading it. So I just decided to pick up a finished copy, because by the time I was ready to read it, it had already come out. So I picked this up. But this one follows this character who is known as Jane Doe, or Subject 684. She has been in this secret government facility for a little bit over 2.5 years. And they have been testing on her and all these things, and they're trying to get her to talk. But she hasn't spoken in these past a little over 2.5 years. And it's clear that there is some type of powers going on. She has some type of powers, but it is connected to her speech. So this is why she doesn't want to talk, because something tragic has happened in her past. And towards the beginning-ish of the story, she is kind of giving like a month's notice that she has to prove that she is worthy of being held here in this spot, or basically is kind of hinted at that they're going to kill her if she doesn't, comply with them. And the story basically takes off there. Read this one already as well, and I think it was a really enjoyable, nice setup for the series that is going to take place after this. The next couple books I picked up, which I actually got because when I was ordering Whisper, I wanted to read it, like I was going to pick it up as soon as possible. So I was trying to get one-day shipping from Amazon, so I had picked up a few other things as well, just to get to the limit I needed to get that one-day shipping. So I picked up The Darkest Minds and Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. I'm sorry, I cannot talk right now. I'm trying to talk too fast. But these are the first two books in the Darkest Mind series, and the movie comes out in August, I believe. And then, as can be guessed, I bought books from Book Outlet. I told myself I wasn't again, but I think there was a few things that I saw on there that I really wanted to get, and they didn't have a lot of copies. So, or if they had a lot of copies, I didn't know how long it was gonna last. So I decided to just get them anyway. So the first one of the books that I picked up after all that rambling is Certain Dark Things by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. This is an urban fantasy that deals with vampires, and it takes place in Mexico City. This is a diverse urban fantasy, and I feel like I never really hear about that. So after I heard someone that I follow on Instagram talk about this, I was like, I need to get it, and I had it in my cart since then. It was available when I wanted it, so I went ahead and picked it up, and I cannot wait to read this one. The next book that I picked up is This Adventure Ends by Emma Mills. I think I mentioned this in my last book out in the last haul when I was talking about Book Outlet, because I picked up First and Then, and I wanted this one, but when I picked up that order, this one was no longer available. So when I went back on there, it was. I just picked it up, and look at that cover. Hopefully you guys can see the foiling on that. Once again, I don't think this has anything to do with the actual story or anything. I think this one more so because I think it has something to do with a painting or something like that. So or that's like part of the story. But I love these covers. They're always beautiful. So I'm glad that this one was available. And then I went and picked up The Ancient Magus' Bride Volume 2 by Core Yamazaki. I picked up the first and the fourth volume, I believe, last month in April. So when I saw that they had volume 2 available, I went and picked that one up because obviously I have volume 1 and I needed volume 2, and it was only, I think, like $4 or something. So it was cheaper than if I would have gotten it from Amazon. So picked this one up, and I'm looking forward to finally starting this manga series. And the last book that was part of the first order that I made on Book Outlet was Binti by Nydia Okorafor. I picked up Home, which is the second book in this novella trilogy. I think 2 Book Outlet orders ago, like 2 orders before this one, and Home or Binti wasn't available, so I just picked up the second one. And when I went on there, this one was finally back on there after not being on there for a while. So it's like I need to get it, and I'm glad that I got it from there, because on Amazon it's like $10 I think, or $9 or $10, and it's like less than 100 pages. So I'm just like, I don't want to spend that much money on this little bitty novella. So I was able to get it from there for $3. And then the second part of my Book Outlet order, I got 3 books. 2 of them are part of the same series, but the first one that I have is Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. These 2 people end up meeting, and after like this whirlwind romance, they end up getting together. Like they end up getting married after only having known each other, I think, for a few months. And then one day the guy, her husband, ends up going out to go get food or something like that, and he ends up getting hit by a car and killed on impact. It deals with the main character grieving and learning how to live after this has happened, and things like that. So I have seen a few people talk about this one, and they have really enjoyed it. And the last 2 books, like I mentioned, are part of the same series, and I actually don't know what this series is called. I think it's the Wayward Children series. Yes, it's the Wayward Children series. And I picked up Every Heart or Doorway and Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Shauna McGuire. I'm looking forward to finally starting this series because I feel like everyone has been loving this lately. So those are the books that I picked up in May. Like I said, it was kind of a lot, not as much as like some of the other months, but I feel like I acquired more than I set out to at the beginning of May. If you've read any of these books, please let me know what you thought about them. But that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye.